everybody and welcome to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reid and today we are here on the 1st of December, which that means that we have our Flossmas, Vlogmas, whatever you want to call it, Advent unboxings as well as a sewing tutorial. Alright, so today we are opening up our first book and our first crafty Advent calendar. So basically, a few months ago, I think I spoke to everybody. I told you that I was getting the Advent calendar from the book grocer. This is how it come. Actually, I'll just bring the video out a little bit so you can see a little bit better. I have already opened the box, but I haven't looked inside yet. So basically it says do not open until the 1st of December. Well, we're here and now we can get opening on this. So these books will be read during the year of 2022, and basically I will talk about the books that I've read and on my Stitch With Me's. But today we are here for our first opening and our sewing tutorial. So as always, oops, sorry about that. As always, it comes in a nice big box. There is 24 books to open, so I will be opening one up each day. We will also have a few Stitch With Me's for my cross stitch, as I do every year, and basically also my floss tube, and then sewing tutorials and anything else in between. Alright, so we open up our thing. It always has their little flyer in there. We're great, and it just says hi there, we're glad you love books as much as we do, thank you from ordering for us. And then it has this lovely tissue paper with I love books on it, which I could always keep and maybe wrap a book up in it, I guess. So apparently, well, as you can see, they are numbered. Okay, so basically I have to find number 1, and that's the book that we're going to open. It is a mystery to what they are. I did get I believe it was a, I can't remember now whether it was a crime and fiction or whether it was just an Advent and it was a mystery. I don't know. So I guess we'll find out together. Alright, so I'm going to pull out number 1, and I can see that just there. And they are wrapped lovely, like in all different paper. They have gone to so much time and effort. Oh, I can't wait to open all these. Oh, that's a good one. It looks like a block of chocolate. I like that one. Alright, so we've got number 1 out. It feels like a paperback, so I'm going to sit that there, and then I'm just going to get rid of this box because it's huge. Alright. Okay, got rid of that one. And then the other one that I got was from a craft buy swap and sell group, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember. I think it was an Australian one, I know that. And the lovely lady would put a few of these boxes together, and they turned out to be quite popular. So she is going to do them next year, and I believe her name is Luca? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's very much a European type name. But she's lovely. She said that she had a great response from them, and basically she's going to do them next year. So, which way does this open? I think it opens this way. Alright, so as you can see, these are all wrapped as well. Beautifully wrapped in different papers. Some are wrapped in fabrics, in newspapers. I'm looking for number 1. Let me just, there's number 2. Do we have a number 1? 18, 9, what's this one? 6, 3, I must have it here somewhere. Oh, that sounds rattly. 16, 24, 8, we've got 2, so I'm gonna, we've got 2 2s. Alright, so, oh look, here's some more in here. Let me see what we've got in here. 4, aha, there we go. Number 1. Alright, so I'll pop all the rest back in here. And they're all lovingly wrapped. I can't even speak this morning. Alright, so we'll pop the rest of those away and we'll look at those another day. Alright, so the first one, I'm so excited, I don't know which one to open up first. I think I'm going to open this one up first. Alright, so as you can see, she's taken her time and she's wrapped everything up. And I just happened to come across this one morning. I was looking in the D-Stash sites and the buy swap and sells. And I think I was looking for a cross-stitch chart. I can't remember. Maybe I was looking for ribbon, because I have been looking for, stamps is what I was looking for. That's right. Alright, so we've got that off, but it's not opening up. All thumbs today. So hopefully you've got a cuppa and you're getting ready to, okay, let me have a look at what's in here. All right, so it seems to be a paper pattern for Vogue. Oh, it's a skirt pattern. Well, there you go. It looks like a decent sized skirt. Well, I guess that's going to force me into doing some, that's different. She said they were all different sorts of craft things and all the rest of it. And so that is different. And it is a, let's just see what size it is. 8, 10 and 12. So I'm not sure. This probably is a size 8, I'd say, looking at the size of it, but that's okay. I'm sure with the help of some of my crafty friends that do some sewing of garments and whatnot, I'll be able to work out how to add extra bits and pieces into that. So that's pretty cool. It's something different. As I said, this is a craft one. It's not necessarily cross stitch or anything like that, so it's all random and a mystery. All right, so let's see what book we got. These are well wrapped too, I might add, Book Grocer. Well done. Love the fabric, the paper that you got. All right, let's see what we've got. Oh, get rid of that. All right. So, set in 1945 Italy, a woman with one chance to save herself, the liberation, thrilling roller coaster of a read, seductive, mysterious, edgy. I loved it. Kate Furnival. Okay, as British and American troops attempt to bring order to the devastated country, Italy's population fights to survive. Caterina Lombardi is desperate. Her father is dead, her mother has disappeared, and her brother is drawing them both in towards danger. One morning, among the ruins of the bombed Naples streets, Caterina is forced to go to extreme lengths to protect her own life. In doing so, she forges a future in which she must clear her father's name. An Allied army officer accused him of treason, and Caterina discovers a plot against her family. Who can she trust? Who is the real enemy now? And will the secrets of the past be her downfall? All right, that sounds pretty interesting. It's got 550 pages in it, so that looks like a nice good summer read for me. Looking forward to that. Actually, I don't mind books that are set in the Second World War. They I don't know, it just appeals to me, I guess. But yeah, that'll be an interesting read. All right, so let's get stuck into our sewing tutorial. Today we are making a cute little gift basket. And first of some of our Christmas stitch-alongs. Most of the stuff that I'm making this Christmas is for my table, but I thought I would make a cute little basket. You could use it as a bread basket, you could use it as a gift basket, or anything like that. All right, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to collect your sewing supplies. So you're going to need a rotary cutter, you're going to need your thread snips, you're going to need your wonder clips, a pen, you're going to need your scissors possibly, and you're definitely going to need your pinking shears. You're also going to need your wooden clapper, and I will leave a link down below where you can get all these supplies. And you're also going to need some quilting rulers, an iron and an ironing pad, a working sewing machine, and we're going to need some other supplies. So we're going to need our exterior fabric. You'll need 2 pieces cut to the size of 12.5 inches. If you've got a 12.5 inch square, you can just do that. You're also going to need the same size in lining fabric, and I've just chose this beautiful Christmas snowflake fabric. The reds sort of match each other. And you're also going to need the same size in Fusible Fleece, so 12.5 inches, okay, and in the Shape Flex 101. So to save us a little bit of time today, I've already put that all on. And you can see here that I've cut my Fusible Fleece, and I've cut a 3-inch square out of each corner, and it has to go to the bottom of your fabric. So if you're using non-directional fabric, it doesn't matter which side it goes on, but if you're using directional fabric, and this pattern is great for directional fabric, there's no confusion whatsoever, you will want your squares to be at the bottom of your fabric. So you can see here I've cut them out already, okay, and you can see all my little unicorns are going the correct way. All right, so I'm going to bring this in a little bit closer, and that way you'll be able to see what I'm actually doing. So once you've got all your supplies up and ready to go. You're also going to need a piece of fabric about 3.5 inches wide to 4 inches wide. It doesn't really matter the width on that, but no less than 3.5 inches. Okay, and I wouldn't go any more than 4.5 inches, and you want it to be about 6 inches in length. Okay, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to also put some Shape Flex 101 on the back of that as well, okay, to match the size. And then we are just going to fold that in half and create a crease line, and then we're just going to bring our raw edges in like so and fold that back on itself, so that way we've got a little handle, because these actually have handles on the side of them, so it will look like this. Okay, and we do that with our iron. Makes it quick and easy to do instead of trying to do it all with our fingers. As I said, we create our crease. Bring that up here. All right, so we fold it over with the wrong sides touching to create our crease. Then we just bring our raw edges into that center line, and we don't want to go over the center line. We just want them to come in, so they just touch it. And this is where I use my clapper. This helps create the creases. Okay, and then I just bring that other side in and give that a press. Put my clapper on it, and you can see it just holds it quite nicely. And then I'm just going to fold it over on itself. Okay, and give that a press. And then I just put my clapper on that and give it a little bit of pressure, and that should just hold it nicely. And just to make sure, I just put a couple of wonder clips on it, and we're just going to set them aside until we're ready to head over to the sewing machine. And when we head over to the sewing machine, all we're going to do is we're going to stitch 1/8 of an inch down each side, and then that's going to close it up. We don't need to worry about our short ends because they'll be caught up in a seam, so we don't have to turn them under. The next thing that you want to do is you want to adhere all of your fusible fleece onto your exterior fabric. So this is as I said, it's fusible and it's a little bit fluffy. It's going to give it a little bit of stability to it. Now you want your iron turned right down for this. I usually have it on between 1 and 2, okay, because this iron is quite a hot iron. It will depend on your iron. Okay, if you don't, what can happen is it'll shrink a little bit because this is a polyester, so it will just pull the fabric in and you'll get ripples in your fabric, and we don't want that. So you just start in the middle and work your way out and get that to press on, okay, using a not very hot iron. And you do the same with your Shape Flex 101. You could probably have it on about a 2 on your iron for that. It's cotton, so it doesn't tend to shrink down as much, but I always be a little bit cautious with my fusibles because sometimes they can, as I said, they can shrink down, and you don't want that. All right, so once that's on, you've done that to your both outer pieces and both of your lining pieces. So your exterior has the fusible fleece and your lining pieces have the Shape Flex 101. Okay, so once you've done all that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut the corners out, as you can see I've done here. And I've made it super easy today. We've just put that, we've taken it already out of our fusible fleece, so we're going to use that as a template. That is a 3-inch square that I've taken out of the fusible fleece, and then I'm just going to get my scissors, and using that as a template, I'm just going to cut that piece of fabric out. Now this is a little 3-inch square, so don't throw it away. You could actually put that into your scraps and use that for some English paper piecing, or you can use it in a quilt or something along those lines. Okay, and you do this to all of your pieces, including your lining. Okay, so we set them aside, and next we are up to putting our pieces together. Okay, I'm just going to move the iron out of the way so I don't burn myself. And for the rest of the remainder of the ironing that I do, I have my iron set on a low heat because I am still working with the fusible fleece. Even though I'm not putting it on, I still don't want that to shrink down and create any distortion whatsoever. All right, so we're going to put our first piece of exterior down, and I'm just going to bring this out a little bit so we can see. I'm going to get rid of all my scissors and bits and pieces out of the way. All right, yeah, that's going to give us a bit more room, isn't it? All right, so you want to put your first piece down right sides up with the direction of the fabric going the right way. Okay, and then we're going to take our second piece and we're going to put them right sides together. Grab some Wonder Clips and we're going to match up our raw edges of our fabric. Now, don't be too concerned if your fusible fleece is in a little bit, because we're going to trim back some of this bulk out. We just want to make sure that our fabric is lining up. Okay, and the fabric is what we're going to match up all the way around. I sometimes use scraps of fusible fleece, and if it's a little bit shorter than the seam, I'm not too concerned, because I always use my pinking shears to clean up my edges. Okay, and the same down here. I'm going to line all that up. Put a clip there. And we're going to do exactly the same for our lining as well. And then we're just going to head over to the sewing machine and I'll show you where we're going to stitch. So you can see there I've lined all my raw edges up, making sure there's no creases where I'm going to sew. Okay, so with this piece here, we're going to start at our top end. So this is the top of our bag, this is the bottom. We're going to start on one side, we're going to do a reverse at the beginning, we're going to come down to the end, reverse, then we'll jump over here to the bottom edge. Okay, and we're going to do exactly the same thing again, reverse at the beginning and at the end, and stitch 1/4 inch seam allowance across. And then we're going to do exactly the same here. Now where I don't have clips, this is going to stay open. All right, set that aside and grab your lining pieces. Now over here you can see I've got a blue mark here. This area here is not where we're going to sew. We're going to leave that open, but we still need to line up our raw edges. Okay, and get it sitting nice and flat. And I will just put a clip here and a clip there, and then I know that I've got to leave that gap open. So what I'm going to do when I come to sewing this, we're going to sew it exactly the same as the exterior pieces, except down the bottom here we're going to come in, do a reverse here, come into that line, stop, do a reverse, jump over to here, okay, do a reverse, and then go off and do a reverse. And we're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance for this as well. Okay, and again just lining up our boxed corners. So let's head over to the sewing machine and get that done. And don't forget to take your handles with you, okay, and you're going to stitch 1/8 of an inch down each side of your handles. Now that we've sewn our exterior and our lining together and our little handles, we need to get rid of all our long threads. Okay, so now what we need to do is we're just going to grab our pinking shears and we're going to get rid of some of this bulk out of here. So we're just going to cut along without going into our stitching, and it'll just make our basket sit a little bit better. And wherever you've sewn, without going into your stitches, you're just going to get rid of that bulk. So once we've done that, I just want to double check that everything is all sewn up correctly and we don't have any gaps on our sides or anything like that. We are just going to match up our seams, and we have one going one way, one going the other way, and we'll just nest them up. And as always, I like to use my fork pins for this because it gives me a pin on either side of my seam, and I know that it's not going to give me any grief by moving. Okay, and we're going to do the same on this side. Again, we're going to have our seams nesting and pop a pin in, and we will also do that for our exterior as well. Okay, so you can see there that I've just lined my seams up and pop those in. Now because you've got the fusible fleece in here, you may have to put a clip, your pin might not go through, so you can do that, and you just put it on to the seam just like so, and then this will be nice and straight. So we'll line our raw edges up so you can see there, and we'll pop another clip there, and the same on this one. Then we're going to do exactly the same thing to the other side. And then what we're going to do is we are going to head over to the sewing machine, and on both our lining and our exterior we are going to do a 1/4 inch seam straight across. Okay, and make sure that you reverse at the beginning and at the end. All right, so we've sewn our boxed our corners, and now we need to take some of that bulk out. So again, we're just going to grab our pinking shears, And we're just going to go across and take a little bit of that bulk out. If you've been around a while, you know I really love my pinking shears. Alright, they make the job just so much easier. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get the outside of our bag and we are going to turn that in the right way. Make sure that we push out all our corners. You can see there. And a lot of people ask me what size their base will end up being. So your base will end up being 6 inches in 6 inches square. Words are escaping me today, people. Okay, so if I place my ruler right on the edge with that corner with a 6 inch, you can see that that is a 6 inch square. Okay, so if you take out a 2.5 inch, then it'll be a 5 inch square. So just remember that whatever size your square is that you take out, so we took out 3 inches and 3 and 3 makes 6, so that's what size your square will be. All right, so now what we need to do is I'm just going to trim up this edge because you can see some of my inner facing is sticking out. So I'm just going to lay that nice and flat on my board and line up my straight edges, okay, and line up my seam here with one of the marks so I can feel the seam underneath, and that's lining up there. Then I'm just going to grab my ruler and I'm just going to trim that up a little bit. So I'm going to take about 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch off actually. So I'm going to line up my, sorry, 1/2 inch, not 3/4. So I'm just going to line up my 1/2 inch mark on that line, and I can see that this is lining up as well, and I'm just going to trim that off, and then that's going to give me a nice straight edge to work from. Okay, and I'm going to do the same for my lining as well. Okay, so again I'm going to line up my seams, get the bag to lay nice and flat. Sometimes you just sew a little bit wonky, and this is just a way to clean it all up. Alright, so we've taken that off, get rid of that, and you can see there I've got a nice straight edge which will make it nice and easy to match up with our exterior fabric. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to put our handles on. Okay, so we're going to come to our side seams. We're going to get our ruler and we're going to put the edge of the ruler on the seam, and we're going to mark 1/2 inch in. Okay, and we're going to do exactly the same there. So this total measurement from including from mark to mark will be 1 inch. Okay, and then we're going to get our little handle, and the edge of our handle is going to be placed on that mark, and the same with this one. Now you don't want to twist your handle, so when you put your handle on, you just want to take your ends and put it up like that. Okay, you don't want to twist it or anything like that, so just make sure that you haven't accidentally twisted your handle. Okay, and then pop another clip there, and we're just lining up our raw edges because this top edge here we're actually going to do a 3/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, and these are just little handles to pick up. All right, and then we're going to go over this side and we're going to do the same again. Now that we've got that done, what we're going to do is we're going to take our lining and we're going to insert our exterior and side seams into the lining. Okay, so your lining will be inside out and your exterior will be the right way, and we want our pretty sides to be touching. Okay, so we're going to pop that in there. Just be mindful that you've got your clips on there, and then we're going to line up our side seams and we're going to nest them, and we're going to pop a clip there. Okay, then we'll get the rest of our bag in, or basket in. Okay, and that way. All right, and then once our seams are lined up, we can actually then just go and grab our clips, and we're going to line our raw edges all the way around. I always start with my side seams first, okay, and my handles. So you can see all our raw edges are lined up, our basket is in there. All right, so I'm just going to grab my presser foot and show you what I'm going to line up. And you know what? There's no such thing as too many clips. Okay, so when I sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance, okay, I use this part of the presser foot. So my fabric doesn't come past here. When I'm sewing my baskets together, I come out to the outer edge of my presser foot, just so I don't have to keep chopping and changing presser feet. And that works out to be about, I think that's about 3/8 or just under 1/2 inch. Okay, so just be mindful of that. You don't want to go any more than 1/2 inch, because you'll lose a lot of your little handle. So if this is a 1/4 inch, and then I'm just going to go to here. So for me, that is about 3/8. So whatever presser foot you've got, if you've got one like this, then you're good to go. If you've got a different one, just measure it and see how big it is. Make sure it's not bigger than 1/2 inch, because we don't want to take too much away from the handle. All right, so I'm going to head over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch all the way around, because we don't need to worry about leaving a gap, because we have the hole down here. Okay, and then we'll be ready to turn our bag through. Right, so we've sewn our basket together. You can see here that I've done 3/8 of an inch, and I started on my seams, and I do a back stitch at the beginning at the end. So you can see here I've done, not that you can really see it, but that's where I've done a back stitch at the beginning at the end, and I've just gone all the way around. Okay, now again, as usual, I will take out some of the bulk out of this, just because it is a round, well, even though it's square, it's still got a bit of a curve to it. So we just want to take some of the bulk out and help to ease that into shape as well. And then all we're going to do is we're going to just go down to the bottom. We're going to reach up in, and we're going to start pulling that through. Push all that down in, and as I said, we'll need to make sure that all our corners are poked out on the outside of our basket. Give this a really good push down, make sure everything is down in there. And you can see here we're getting a little bit of a roll, like a fake binding on that. So we're going to press our basket now, and we're going to make sure that we've got at least 3/8 of an inch all the way around, 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch. Okay, that will keep our little handles down. Okay, and will help with securing that in place. Or when you come up, you can have them down like this, or when you come around, if you want, you can have them going up, and then you can just stitch across, and then they'll attach in there quite nicely. Okay, I tend to just go across this way, because sometimes I might use it as a centerpiece, I might use it as a gift basket, or it could end up being a bin. If you want to omit the handles, you can actually roll it down a little bit further if you take the handles out, and that gives you a thicker edge on it. But I tend to just like to use them, like you always get odd shapes for Christmas presents and all the rest of it. So we're going to give this a good press. We're going to make sure that our fake binding is in place. I'm going to have it with my handles going down, even though they'll still work, okay, as a handle, and that just keeps it a nice, cleaner, neater side to it. And then our basket is finished. We'll just have to sew up the inside, which I'm just going to machine sew that, and I'll probably use a red thread for that. Okay, and that is it, and our little basket will be done. All right. Okay, so our basket is now done. As I said, this is a gift basket that I'm doing. It is measuring just about 8 inches in height. Now I'm actually filling this with crafty supplies, and that's why I've made it that size. So I've got some wool going in, I've got some socks going in, I've got some floss going in, so I've got some different craft supplies that'll go in, a little cupcake with some fabric in it, a meter of fabric. So as you can see, you can fit a lot in this. You can put some cellophane around the outside, and then you can just fill it with whatever you want. You can sprinkle some wonder clips through if they're a sewing thread. You can put needles, all sorts of stuff. So you can see that you'll be able to fit a great deal of stuff in there. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, give it a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to leave a comment down below as well. Tell me what you're working on if you're making one. If you've got any questions, you can always ask them down there as well. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you won't miss out on any future posts. So I hope that you liked it today, and I will see you all again tomorrow for a stitch with me. And I'd like to say thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.